Hi, love. Hello, and welcome to Co-Creative Healing Journey. My name is Greta. I am a healer, and this channel is hosting an ongoing healing process where every week I am bringing through messages that have to do with an overall theme. The theme for this week is peace. And so there are healing messages here on the channel, and then I've created a Patreon where I create extensions for those messages, where I create healings, where I'm drawing cards, bringing in energy, having spirit create interactive healing as we go. It's really been profound. So if that speaks to you, if you've been looking for a process, then check out my Patreon. Week to week, month to month, we're going to be in this for years. And so today it's part of the healing process, but there won't be an extension for this video. I'm going to be bringing through some messages from spirit, soul messages that have to do with the cycles of soul growth and evolution that we are moving through. And we being the people who are drawn to this video, who are drawn to this channel, who are drawn to this healing process, which is heavily based in the needs, the dynamics, the imperatives of a soul growth and healing process, right? So when I talk about your process, I'm talking about your soul growth process. And so within all of that, Spirit wants to bring through messages that have a more direct impact and a more direct relevance to the process of soul growth and soul evolution. So let's get right to it. I have 3 cards. Number 1 is we have root chakra. Okay. With that, we have got soul time. Well, there you go. And then we have got dynamic. Well, there you go. Sometimes I talk and I wonder, why am I saying this specific thing or that specific thing? And then this is why. We're going to be talking about the dynamics. We are going to be talking about, well, all of it. So here and now, we have got root chakra. And the frequency of the root chakra, the red flower of life, stimulates passion and supports our sense of security on this physical plane, both in our bodies as well as in the physical world. So Spirit is wanting to talk about a shift and a change that is happening at this time, where you are being guided to think about your earthly life represented by the root chakra, your earthly material human life and conditions and circumstances, to think about it as soil. And in this case, rich soil that has been infused by the process of soul growth and evolution that you have been through. You've been through a process wherever you are watching this video. You've grown, you've learned, you've evolved. You've been through cycles of soul growth and soul evolution. And the next cycle now is very much shifting from being in this, soul time energy that we're going to talk about, but being in the throes in the kitchen, when you say, get out of the kitchen if you can't take the heat, where the heat was, being in that space where the cooking and the alchemy and all that work was getting done at a soul level. We are moving from the center of that, or rather we're moving the center of that from higher realms and higher dimensions into the earthly experience. So root chakra and all themes related to the root chakra, which can be our vitality, it can be our health, our physical body, it is our subsistence, all of the earthly possessions that we have and how we provide for ourselves in an earthly sense. So money in that earthly sense of subsistence and taking care of ourselves. It is also circles. So for those of you who have a tribe, and here I don't mean when people say it's my tribe, I mean an actual tribe, a physical tribe, sharing DNA. So it's family, it's tribe, community, nation, circle, the globe, also humanity in a larger sense. So all those themes of the root chakra are becoming central now. And you can see there are so many different themes, so many different lights, so many different kind of nexuses of energy that are getting activated in this very fertile soil. And where it's going to be for you is going to depend on you and your process, and also on who you are, on the raw physical data of you, again, your DNA. Do you have a tribe? Do you not have a tribe? Do you have an extended family? Do you not? Do you have kids? Do you not have kids? And so on and so forth. All of that is going to matter and is going to very much shape and mold your own individual experience of the shift of this higher energy into earthly form as we move forward. Now, with that, soul time. Spirit is saying Just because we're moving into the earthly realm and earthly dynamics, it doesn't mean that we're exiting soul time. So the dynamics of the soul and the dynamics of the cycle in which you've been are still going to apply, just in a different kind of way. So typically soul time is a card that talks about, well, actually, let's read the text. It says, the frequency of soul time asks us to allow the possibility of a new reality to emerge, one that embraces the concept that while the corporeal body is mortal, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. Exactly. You would know this because it's part of your process. But when you're on soul time and you're moving through a process of growth and evolution of a part of yourself that is boundless, infinite, and outside of time, then things don't unfold according to the same logic. Literally, when we look at this in philosophy, it's the difference between materialism, where we think that things happen in the earthly realm according to earthly dynamics, material dynamics, the seasons, the sun, the soil, right? That's materialism. Idealism is believing that energy leads, and energy is the primary force and the primary cause of everything that happens. And so that's the energy that you've been in, where you've been following the logics, the dynamics, the imperatives, the needs, even the desires, the goals of your soul, the purposes of your soul. And your process has very much relayed that, embodied that, or your process has been defined by that, by those soul dynamics, soul level dynamics. And so that's where you've been, and where how that shows up in our earthly reality in general is having a lot of change on the inside, a lot of growth, a lot of evolution, a lot of awakening, a lot of remembrance of who you really are, what life is really about, a huge intuitional growth and evolution. But maybe on the outside, things aren't moving as much. Our earthly goals, earthly pursuits, our relationships, our work, our finances. It doesn't follow the same evolutionary trajectory maybe as other people have, where you graduate at this age and then you do this and then you get a job and then you get married and you have kids and so on. And so maybe your life hasn't followed that. Likely your life would not have followed that in some way, shape, or form. I remember seeing some YouTubers, for example, who bought a house and they were like, we should just move in like this. And that's the material understanding, right? You buy a house and then there are these steps, boom, 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 house is built, you move in. And then all of a sudden soul time takes on. So over. Soul time takes over. That's what it is. It's a takeover, complete takeover of the dynamics. And so they are living in an RV outside of their house that is getting built. But while they're living in that RV, they're talking about how much they're learning about how they want to live in that house. Oh, when we got the house, I thought we were going to do this, but I think we should organize like that. They're in a small environment with them and their kids, so they're learning to value it more. And we have these rooms where we're going to put everybody in their own room. It's going to be so fancy. But now the kids kind of want to share rooms and they kind of want to stay closer. It's those kinds of dynamics that soul time comes in and shows you the value, the true meaning, the true purpose of things, the deeper underlying truth. And then when the earthly reality manifests, it can manifest in alignment, but the soul time has to lead. And so again, just because you're coming into a time now where there's going to be lots of manifestations, things are really going to move forward. The things that you have felt have been on hold and maybe stuck, or that maybe you've been feeling that they were withheld from you, those things are going to start coming in. But just because they're here doesn't mean that you forego everything that you've learned, all that you've evolved into, everything that you've developed on the inside of you. You don't let that go. You are to translate it into this new reality by making use of the people, places, things, situations, circumstances that are going to be showing up. Soul time stays in charge, and by that, you stay in charge, right? But there's a new playground, there's a new space, again, fertile soil for something new to grow. But whatever grows there, it has to be centered in soul truth. It has to remain in alignment with the process that you have been in, that you are in, and that you will be in. So then we have dynamic. And dynamic says The frequency of dynamic supports our ability to harmonize between layers and aspects of different origin and frequency. It helps us to put together a reality that is made up of different elements, both familiar and completely new, with ease, grace, and great joy. And I would say a touch of magic, because that was spot on for exactly everything we've been talking about. But dynamic is talking about how in this time, in this new cycle, in these new dynamics that are unfolding, that's exactly what you're going to find. There's a new way in which things are going to happen, and things need to happen. If you can remember continually, as events are unfolding, as people are showing up, as you're finding yourself in this situation, that situation, this relationship, this engagement, if you can remember that the soul dynamics and that your soul process has to lead, and that it has to be able to maintain itself, sustain itself, ground itself, and then grow through what you're finding yourself into, then you're going to really be able to understand and read and evaluate and follow what is going on. You're going to be able to navigate beautifully wherever you're in alignment with that truer dynamic that is at play, which is again this dynamic of grounding the higher energies, grounding your process. When you're in alignment with that, things are going to flow, and it's going to be like clockwork. I'm seeing like one thing fitting into the next, and it just works, and it just flows and it feels fantastic. However, where you're not in alignment with that, then you're going to get challenged, then you're going to get struggle, and then you're going to get resistance. Again, things feeling stuck, because it has to be the new way. If you don't do it in a new way, it's not even like the universe is standing there and like, you got to do it my way or else, That's not it. It's more that it just won't fit you. And we are beings of accordance, as within, so without. So whatever we experience without, it has to match within. And within isn't going to change. It isn't going to budge. It is the source and the origin of the reality that you're now experiencing. So within, it's not going to be like, okay, let me go back. Let me go backwards in time. Let me unlearn this. Let me unlearn that. It's the outer that is going to need to change. Okay, maybe I don't need this. Maybe I don't need that. Maybe I'm going to prioritize this instead of that. Maybe I'm going to do it in a different way. Maybe I'm going to put it on hold. Maybe I'm going to speed it up. But whatever it is, it's your approach that has to budge. And that's the dynamic. Your approach has to budge in alignment with the truth that you hold inside about who you are, about what you are here to be, to do, to live, to create, about where you're headed, who with, and so on and so forth. That inner truth has got to be the guiding light, the beacon, and even the engine, the propulsion, the metronome that sets the tempo. It has to be really everything and applicable at all levels in how you function. And that's really the unity. It's multidimensional. So it's not to think one thing, feel another, do a third. There has to be alignment. And the alignment is, I know the truth of who I am. I know who I am. I know what I'm about. I know where I'm heading. I know what I'm here to live and to create. And then I'm going to do that. And of course, it's a process. It's a process. You're not going to get it every single time. And that's also why we have the clockwork. There's lots of different moving pieces. There's lots of different requirements, imperatives. There's lots of different things that have to be there for all of you to be fulfilled, and for you to really have that match between your reality. But again, that's why it's a process, and it is the stage of the process that you're now moving into, right? So it's like a process within a process. Do not try or even aim for immediate success. I'm gonna get it immediately. I'm gonna know it straight away. Yay. Just like that. No, you're in new territory. You're in new territory. And the exploration itself is going to be very calibrating, right? You can rely on the exploration to get you into closer and closer alignment. Meaning, I'll explain this before I look at the two cards. If you try something straight away and it doesn't work, then it's not a matter of giving it up, or it's not a matter of forcing it through, right? It's a matter of going, why? Why am I misaligned? Where's the misalignment? I know I'm headed this way. I know this is what I want to do, but every time I try, I go like this, I go like this. Okay, so what's off? And then you start to calibrate and you start to explore what's off. How can I do this one thing that I'm trying to do? I can do it this way, I can do it that way, and oh, it's getting me a little bit more alignment. Okay, so I'm trying this way, then there's another challenge. Is it it? Is it, oh, it's there. Okay, let me, and then you keep aligning in that way. It's about accepting newness as an exploration, as an experience of discovery, and ultimately of discovery, not necessarily of the self, because you've done a lot of work on yourself. It's more discovery of the link between you and your reality, what really works for you. And a lot of that needs to be exploration, it needs to be discovery, because you're creating it. You've never been this soul, right, in this life, and maybe in other lives you've never been this embodied and this grown and this developed, but you have to discover what that looks like. It's a creative act, it's a creative process. That's what I'm trying to say. It's creativity. But that's exactly it. I'm trying to get to the word creativity. I'm trying to get us to that conversation, but it takes some alignment to go, oh, it's a creative process. All right, let's look at these cards now. We've got the third chakra. Love it. Love it. The frequency of the third chakra, the blue flower of life, supports our self expression and our sense of peace and balance. Beautiful. And then we have got realization. Yeah, the frequency of realization supports the internal process of becoming um, supports the internal process of becoming aware of our heart-centered truth, as well as the external process of becoming our highest expression in this world. You know, when I was looking for the decks, I intuited that this would be the deck for this reading. And I was like, I kind of already used it in a reading this week. And really? And then I went through the decks, and sure enough, it was this deck. Looking at the cards, it's spot on. So again, there's the thing, there's the alignment, there's what it is, but there's not necessarily the recognition, because there's other things in play. I've already used it this week. That's not how I like to do this. I used to like to use a whole bunch of different decks and energies every single week. So it doesn't fit with how I think I want this to go. But as I move through it, and as I'm drawing the cards, as I'm having the experience, I'm realizing, ooh, this is a great alignment. And that's what Spirit is trying to tell you. It requires going into the situations. It requires having the experience. It requires engaging with the experience, shaping, molding it, always seeking that alignment. And when it's the right form, when that becomes realized, ding, there is the fullness of recognition, as within so without. It's fully in accordance. Okay, so that being said, I feel like this is advice that Spirit wants to give you at this time. Let's do it this way. We have here our third chakra, and third chakra, I was talking about self-expression, and then we have realization. And so Spirit is giving you the advice of pursuing self-expression, and it's one of those things that is very kind of metaphysical, in the sense that, in a metaphysical sense, all things that are material are the expression of a higher energetic core essence. A spiritual essence moving through the dimensions comes into earthly manifestation, and that earthly manifestation is the expression of the spiritual essence. And so, in the same way, who you are, what you embody, is the expression of your higher energy, your higher self. And you've been doing a lot of work shifting that higher self. And so who you are and what you embody is changing and evolving also, and will be changing and evolving through the process. And it's as you change and evolve yourself that you're going to be realizing things, that you're going to be bringing them into material form. Meaning you always need to have yourself clear, yourself aligned. Your energy has got to be spot on, is the way that I'm saying it. Talking about self-expression, yeah, but your energy just needs to be aligned, for lack of a better word. Again, you can't be thinking one thing, feeling another, following a third approach, and then you get the outcome and it doesn't fit. Well, yeah, no wonder, right? So that's where we're at. And so the way of the self-expression, or the way to align what you yourself are embodying and what you're expressing out into the world, is through authenticity. Is it real for me? Is it true for me? What is the truth of what I'm thinking? What is the truth of what I'm feeling? What is the truth of how I'm approaching this? What is the truth of the outcome that I'm experiencing, and engaging with all of that? There's no more sitting it out. There's no more being passive. This is a time of very active engagement, but it's an active engagement that is based in, and that necessitates a tremendous amount of authenticity. Nothing else will do at this time, because you got to be real with yourself about the energy that you're embodying. That's what it is, right? You got to be real with yourself about the truth of what you are embodying in this moment. Again, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, how you're acting, and how you're situating within different situations and circumstances. That's the gig. And it has to be truthful. You have to stay in the truth of it all. And then we have realization. And realization is talking about how you're going to know when you're aligned. You're going to know when you're coming at it from the right space, from the right energy, as within, so without, right? And those moments of realization, it's important to start noticing them, and it's so important to start flowing with them, go with them. In essence, it's a little bit like seek them out. The guidance is a bit to seek out those kinds of moments, those kinds of energies, those kinds of dynamics, but only so that you can learn to recognize the process, because you're just at the beginning right now. Spirit showing me a starting line. You're at the starting line. Someday you're going to know how to do this without breathing. You're going to know how to move through the process. You're going to know how to do different things, A, B, C, or D, how to move in accordance with the truth of you effortlessly. It's just a process right now. And I'm being guided to a time when I realize that my energy just stops. When I'm misaligned personally, my energy just stops. I just stop. And I feel it, I experience it as a kind of, I'm doing something, maybe even mid activity, and then literally I will just stop. It's hard to put into words, but I feel like the energy in me is saying, no, I'm not proceeding down this alignment. And then I have to, okay, what am I doing? How am I doing it? Why am I doing it? What's going on? And then I have to retract. And it's like, like, yeah, clockwork. There's a precision to it. Oh, wait, I was intending to create this many offerings per week. Oh, no, 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 stop. Okay, how many? Let's focus. What is it? What is the issue with how many there are? Because then there's a realized reality on the other side of it, which is time put in, effort put in, and it just affects lots of other things that maybe I hadn't thought about, or hadn't thought about in the right way. Oh, okay. Okay, let me backtrack. Let me realign. Then the energy flows, and I'm super creative, get everything done. And so there's also a message where oftentimes we can resist doing this inner work because we just want to get there already, we just want to get it done. But as you're hearing, if you have to go through a process of exploration and discovery in order to create something, that can take time. You can save time in the earthly sense by prioritizing your self-expression, your alignment, getting into the truth of what it is that you actually want, that you actually are creating, doing this inner work, and then going at it, and boom, it's done in 2 seconds. In 2 seconds. Literally the other day I was struggling to do 2 videos, and I was just like, what is going on? And then going back, misaligned, right? Okay, realign, boom, I did 4 videos. So I caught up the two, did two more on track, realize also with the alignment I'm in a much better position than I thought I was in. Awesome. And onwards. That's the process. This is not a process to dispossess you, and maybe you have felt that way with soul time. A lot of us do, so many of us do, because it really is hard. But that's the old cycle. Now soul time is intended to be something that allows you to really align, to do this work of prioritizing everything that you already have invested in and leveraging it, making it work for you in this new cycle. And it can in truly and beautiful ways, because what you get out of it is that you get to live in a truly creative way. And my love, it's here for you. So I hope that you will avail yourself of it. And if you would like to share, I would love to hear how this reading resonated with you. We are definitely starting to move into that, and I'm sure we will talk about it more here on the channel, meaning we're moving into these times where we're starting to leverage all the inner work that we have been doing. And so if that speaks to you, I would love to hear about it. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your presence. I hope that you're well. I'm sending you lots and lots of love. And I will be seeing you around this channel. May you be blessed always and in always. And so it is. Bye.